Allow the eyes to close here. Take that moment to check in with yourself, with your body. Trying to find a little bit more room through the spine. Maybe following that next inhale, just pull the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. Exhale, pull the shoulder blades back and down. Feel this openness through the collarbone, through the chest. Chin is slightly lifted up. Finding as much length as you possibly can from the crown of the head all the way down to the lower spine, sit bones. Exploring your breath, taking the time to just really be curious with everything that the breath is doing for you in this moment. Becoming more of a scientist, that observation of everything going on with that breath, the length of it, depth of it, where it moves the body. Is it moving the belly, the chest, maybe both at the same time? Are you able to pick up on that slight rise up on the inhale and that relax back down on your exhale? And starting to invite that breath to grow a little bit more. Take a nice deep inhale. Fill up as much as you can. Feel that belly expand outward, the chest, the crown of the head lifts up. And exhale to release it all out. Just like that again, deep inhale, fill up the belly, fill up the chest, lift up with that inhale. Exhale, release. On the bottom of that exhale, pull in the lower belly, empty out as much air as you possibly can. Exhale. Allow that next inhale to overcome you, that natural need to breathe. Maybe we created a little bit of extra space to take a deep inhale with that full exhale out. And exhale to release when you reach the top of your breath. Same process at the bottom of your breath. Pull the lower belly in, empty out as much as you can. Inhale from that empty place, fill up. Allow the lungs to expand out in all directions. Lift up. Relaxing, exhale out. One more time, just like that. Lower belly in, squeeze it out. Belly button to navel. Pulls inwards. Deep inhale, fill up. Maybe an extra sip of air at the top. And exhale to release. And find your pace of breath that's easy to maintain throughout your practice, but is still deep. You're still connected with the breath. Keep this breath going. Notice when you lose track of it, when you start to pay attention, start to lose attention towards it, coming back, returning to those deep breaths. Starting to find some movement with the neck. First, just start to take some tiny circles. Use the crown of the head, imagining that you're a beam of light shooting from the head, drawing circles against the top of the ceiling. Slowly, those circles get larger and larger, still breathing here. As you start to take the largest circles that you can go slow, you can go fast. It doesn't really matter which one, just find where you want to go. You can find a point in the neck where it's just additional tension there. Maybe you just pause, take a round of breath in, a round of breath out, invite that tension to release, and then you continue to move on. Next time, chin comes towards chest. Start to take those large circles in the opposite direction. And then slowly start to make those circles smaller and smaller. until the head is barely moving at all. And bring it to a stop. Inhale, roll the shoulder blades all the way up to the ears. Exhale, roll them down and back. Heart puffing out nice and proud. Option here, just to keep the eyes closed. Start to take the forearms, the hands behind you, grab onto the forearms, pull the shoulder blades back even more, puff out the heart. Take a round of breath here. You can stay here. Another variation of this posture is to first create fists, bring the knuckles together, palms to touch, take that configuration behind you. Once again, take an inhale, lengthen. Exhale, pull the shoulders back, puff the heart out. Maybe draw the elbows towards each other behind you. They won't come to touch, but they'll be pulling towards one another, feeling a deeper stretch in the shoulders. Take 3 breaths here. Just to release the hands from the forearms, or at least unclench those fingers. Inhale, sweep the arms up towards the ceiling. Bring them out towards the side as you roll out the wrists on the exhale. Switch directions. Inhale, reach them back up towards the ceiling, taking those circles at the same time. Bring the palms to touch at the top. Inhale, bring the gaze up towards the fingertips. Blink the eyes open. Exhale, draw the hand down through heart center. Release the hands to the thighs, knees. Bring the legs out in front of you or roll over the shins to come to tabletop. Shoulders are stacked above wrists. Fingers are spreading nice and wide, pressing through all points of the hands, base of the knuckles, that L shape in the thumb and the pointer finger. Hips are stacked above knees. Start to move through your cat-cow flow. Inhale, release the belly down. Bring the gaze forward towards the top of the room. Exhale, press into the hands. Tailbone starts to tuck underneath you as you arch through the spine, getting nice and deep into the upper back of those shoulders. Inhale, drop everything back down. Belly releases, gaze comes forward. Exhale, press the mat away. Arch through the spine. Tuck and curl in as much as you can. And just take 2 or 3 more rounds just like that, moving with your own breath, syncing breath with movement. Feel free to add in your own flavor of this posture, of this flow at any point. Finishing up one last round. And meeting a neutral tabletop. Take an inhale. Exhale, bend the elbows outward. Wrap them in towards each other. Squeeze the biceps forward, elbows in, and press into the hands. From that space, tuck the toes underneath you. Inhale, press into the hands, lift the knees up, and exhale, take everything up and back. First down dog of your practice. Maybe a nice bend in your knees. Maybe you walk out your dog, straightening through one leg, bending into the opposite. Taking that to the other side, bending in opposite knee, straightening opposite leg. And find whatever feels good here. Just trying to wake up the legs a bit. Notice where your weight is in your hands, trying to still press into those base of those knuckles, rooting every point of the hands into the mat. One more breath here. Exhale, bend into the knees. Look forward past the fingertips. Slowly walk the feet to meet the hands. Meeting in ragdoll, deep bend in knees. Torso drapes over the legs. Allow the neck to release. Upper body is just completely relaxed. No need to hold anything up. The lower body is supporting you here. Bring hands to elbows, shoulders, whatever feels good here. Sway side to side, bounce up and down. Really just allowing this posture to decompress the spine, find a little bit more length, relax the lower back. Take an inhale. Exhale, release the hands down to the mat, dangling in the air. Bring your weight into the heels. Press to the insides of the feet. Find nice strong legs. As you inhale, slowly roll up vertebra by vertebra, softening into the knees, slight bend. Take your time. Head and shoulders will be the very last thing to come up. Straightening through the legs. Maybe inhale, roll the shoulders all the way to the ears. Exhale, roll them down and back. Open up the hands beside you, palms face forward. Still pressing into the heels, the insides of the feet, maybe scrunching up the feet like you're gripping your mat with your toes. Take a round of breath here in your strong, engaged mountain pose. Bring the hands to center, heart center. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Let's start to moving through a round of sun salutation. Inhale, scoop the arms up towards the ceiling. Bring the gaze up towards the fingertips. Blink the eyes open if you close them. Exhale, soften into the knees. Start to hinge forward. Try to keep that flat spine all the way down to the mat. Bringing hands in the air, grazing against the mat. Inhale for that halfway lift. Press the hands underneath the knees into the shins. Pull the crown of the head forward. Lower belly pulls in. Find length through the spine. A deep inhale. Exhale, bend back into the knees. Fold forward. Inhale at the bottom of the standing forward fold. Exhale, bend even more into the knees so the fingertips come onto the mat. Step the right foot back. Scoot it back as much as you can, maybe until heel is stacked right above the ball of the foot. Drop the knee down, untuck the toes. Don't rise just yet. Press the left hip back, right hip forward. Round through the spine, come up high onto the fingertips. Squeeze the hips towards each other, and from that space, inhale, slowly roll up. You can bring the hands to heart center, still pressing left hip back, right hip forward, or you can reach the arms up and over. The arms are lifted, roll the shoulders down, find space in between ears and shoulders. Breathe into the hip flexor here. Take an inhale. Exhale, start to bring the hands behind you, interlace the fingers, or just grab onto the forearms. Pull the shoulders back, puff out the heart. Take an inhale. You can exhale, start to bend back a little bit. If the fingers are clasped, you can punch the fist down towards the ground. Maybe the gaze comes up towards the ceiling. Take a round of breath here. Keeping those hips square will help you balance to stabilize. Next inhale pulls you up. Unclasp the hands. Take an exhale. Inhale, reach the arms back up towards the ceiling. Exhale, send them down to the mat. Tuck the right toes. Inhale, lift the knee up and step it towards the front of your mat. Inhale for that halfway lift. Pull the crown of the head forward, press into the shins, lower belly up. Exhale, release back down. Maybe legs are straight or knees are softened. Inhale. Exhale, bend into the knees. Plant the fingertips. Step the left foot back this time. Scoot it back until heel is stacked right above that ball of the foot, or maybe a little bit more forward if that's helpful for the body. Release the knee down. Untuck the toes. Come up high onto the fingertips. Arch through the upper back. Press right hip back this time. Left hip forward. Rooting down through that right foot, inner edge as much as you can. And inhale, rise from that place of strength. So again, maybe hands to heart center. Still pulling your right hip back, left hip forward. Arms can also reach up. If that's the case, shoulders down and back. Inhale there. Exhale out. Inhale again. Exhale, bring the hands back behind you, interlace the fingers or grab onto forearms. Inhale, pull shoulder blades back, puff out the heart. And maybe exhale, start to back bend just a little bit, punching the mat with that fist. Maybe the gaze up towards the fingertips, square off the hips. Keep the hips squeezing in towards each other, towards that midline. Next, inhale to come up. Unclasp the hands on the exhale. Inhale, reach it all the way to the top of the mat, top of the ceiling. Exhale, send hands down. Tuck the left toes. Inhale, lift the back knee. Exhale, step it all forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Weight towards the heels, strong legs. Inhale, lower belly in, arms out, and then up, reaching towards the ceiling. Palms touch. Exhale, draw the hands down through heart center. Inhale, reach up, scoop up. Exhale, come back into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Bend the knees, plant the hands, step both feet back. Scoot the feet back once again, trying to align those heels above the balls of the feet. Maybe you stay in high plank, maybe you lower to the knees, or come to fists, whatever is helpful for the wrists. Lower belly is squeezing in. Look slightly forward, so the shoulders don't round down, they're nice and lifted. Take another round of breath in here. A round of breath out. Inhale, come forward onto the toes if you're in high plank. Exhale, bend into the elbows, squeeze them in towards the ribcage, lower chest and belly, all the way down through your chaturanga. Realign the hands right underneath the chest. Press the tops of the feet into the ground, kneecaps will lift. Take a round of breath in here from that engaged place. Exhale to release. Inhale, shoulder blades pull towards each other. Lift the heart off the mat. Maybe hover the hands off the mat, more lifting from the chest, using the strength up the upper back to reach you up rather than the hands. Exhale, release everything back down. 2 more times of that rolling baby cobra. Inhale, tops the feet into mat. Pull up from the chest, from the heart. Reach the crown of the head forward. Maybe lift the hands up. Exhale, lower. 1 more round of that. Inhale for your baby cobra. Exhale, release. You can take your baby cobra again, or you can come into your full variation of your cobra, pressing into the hands, straining through the arms. Soften a little bit into the elbows, not trying to hyperextend the arms. Pull shoulder blades together, feel the heart puff towards the front of the room. Lower belly is in to protect the lower back. Engage the core to support you. Take an exhale out here. Inhale, start to tuck the toes. Exhale, press into the toes, hover the knees, and lift the hips up and back down, dog. Pause here. Take a round of breath in. Exhale up. Exhale, bend into the knees. Look forward past the fingertips. Slowly walk the feet towards the hands. Inhale, half a lift. Reach the crown of the head forward. Exhale, fold. Weight into heels, lower belly in. Inhale, sweep up. Palms meet. Exhale, draw the hands down through heart center.
Taking one more full round of sun salutation. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Skipping the low lunges this time, step both feet back. Meet in your high lunge, low lunge. Inhale forward onto the toes, lift shoulders up, gazes slightly forward. Exhale, elbows in, lower chest and belly all the way down. Back bend of choice, baby cobra, full cobra on your inhale. Exhale, take everything back to your down dog. Pause, round of breath. Exhale, bend into the knees, look forward. Inhale, walk it to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, reach up, grow tall. Palms meet. Exhale, draw it through. Pause here for a round of breath in. Round of breath out. Moving into our main flow. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Bend into the knees. Step the right foot back. Don't lower to the knee just yet. Walk that foot back as much as you can. Drop the foot down. Spin the toes out towards the right-hand side of your mat. You can either have heel to heel, here to arch here. Don't rise just yet. Square the hips off towards that corner of the mat. Press through that inner edge of that left foot. Come onto the fingertips, round through the upper back. And then inhale, cartwheel up from that place of strength. Opening up the arms. Maybe you realign the hips with the hands for a moment. Pull the shoulder blades towards each other and down. Gaze can come forward towards the fingertips or towards the side of the room. A round of breath here. Exhale, release. Inhale. Exhale, start to bring that left forearm down to the mat as the right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Lift up from that forearm, not sinking down. Really press that forearm in to the thigh to lift the shoulder up. Exhale, pull the right shoulder back. Open up through the chest. Gaze can come forward. Allow the neck to release to come up towards the fingertips. Extended side angle. Really pressing down into the forearm and reaching up through that right arm. Pressing through that right leg behind you so it's not all on that left foot to support you. Inhale, pull back up to warrior two, straighten through that leg. Exhale, bend back into the knee. Inhale. Maybe exhale, start to wrap the right arm underneath the left. Maybe wrapping the arms around each other or just grabbing onto those shoulders. For eagle arms. Legs stay exactly where they're at, still checking in that you're pressing as much as you can through that right leg. Inhale. Exhale, start to bow towards the side of your mat as the glutes press back. Still keeping that left knee stacking above ankle. 2 rounds of breath here. Take an inhale. Exhale, unwind the arms, bring the hands down to the mat. Plant that right hand right underneath the shoulder. Bring left hand to left thigh. Inhale. Exhale, press that hand into the thigh to start to arc the body over towards the extended leg. A round of breath here. Start to bring the left hand back down to the mat. Bring the shoulders to line above the hands. Straighten through that left leg and walk the toes to meet the side of the mat as well, meeting in a wide-legged forward fold. Press into the fingertips, lift up through the chest, pull the crown of the head forward. And with that length, exhale, fold from there. To release the head, bring the hands to the block or mat, or whatever helps, or to legs, any point along the leg. 5 breaths here. Return to those deep breaths if you lusted. One more round of breath. Inhale, press into the hands, into the fingers, lift halfway. Start to point the left toes so they point towards the front mat again. Bend into that knee. Walk the hands over and over until you come back onto the ball of the right foot. Walk that left foot all the way to the outside of the mat, coming into lizard lunge. Keep the knee lifted at first. Maybe walk it back more and more to get that heel aligned with the ball of the foot. Come up high onto the toes on your inhale. Exhale, squeeze everything towards that midline. Inhale to hold. Exhale, come lower that foot down. Maybe you drop the knee, untuck the toes, and breathe here in your lizard lunge. You can bring forearms down to a mat or a block, whatever feels good, or stay up on the hands. You want to stay in a place of strength. You can always keep those toes tucked, knee lifted. 2 more rounds of breath here. Next, inhale, tuck the toes, lift the knee up. Next, exhale, we're going to step that right foot forward to the outside of the right hands, preparing for malasana, angling the toes out a little bit. Inhale. Exhale, drop the hips towards the mat. If it helps, you can also take a block underneath the hips. Set the hips down. If you're at, elbows pressing into the sides of the thighs, the knees, and pressing those two things together to open up the hips a bit more. Open the knees out towards the side of the mat. Take an inhale. Exhale, pull the chest closer to those prayer hands. And take an inhale. Next, exhale, press into the heels of the feet. Start to lift up from there. Try to keep that flat spine all the way up. Walk the feet back in, hip distance apart. Inhale, sweep the arms up, palms touch. Exhale, draw the hands down through heart center. Pause for rounding. Round out. Inhale, grow back up, taking that to the opposite side. Exhale, fold. Maybe set that block to the side for later. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Bend into the knees. Step left foot back this time. Scoot it back to get those two parts of your body to stack upon each other. Drop that foot down, toes angle out towards the left this time. Find your alignment, heel to heel, heel to arch. Doesn't really matter. It just depends on how your body functions, how limbs attach ligaments, connect things together. Just find what feels good. Once again, square the hips off towards that left corner. Press through that inner right foot. Find strength there. Come up onto the fingertips. Arch a little bit through the spine. And then inhale, roll up from there. And cartwheel the hands. Reaching to the back in front of the mat. Maybe checking back in with the hips. Knee above ankle. Stomping down through that left leg. Round a breath in. Round a breath out. Inhale. Exhale, extended side angle. Right forearm down to right thigh. Reach left arm up towards the ceiling. Once again, Inhale, press the forearm into the thigh. Lift yourself up, torso up. Reaching the left arm, the left fingertips up towards the ceiling. Maybe use an exhale, pull the left shoulder back a little bit more to open the chest. Either release the neck, allow it to be heavy, or look up towards the fingertips. One more round of breath in and out. Inhale, start to rise back up to your warrior two, straightening through that leg. Exhale, sink back in. Inhale. Exhale, swing the left arm underneath right. Crossing the arms together, just reaching for the shoulders. Still pressing through that left leg behind you. Keeping that right knee stacked above ankle. Keeping the legs exactly where they're at. Inhale. Exhale, hips press back as you bow to the insides of the legs. 2 rounds of breath here. Inhale. Exhale, release the hands down to the mats. Plant that left hand right underneath shoulder. Right hand comes to right thigh. Inhale. Exhale, press that hand into the thigh. Arc the body over towards the back of the mat. Breathe here. Release the hand down to the ground. Inhale, straighten through the right leg. Walk the toes to point towards the side of the mat as well. Stack shoulders above wrist, above hands. Lift up halfway in your inhale. Wide-legged forward fold. And maybe exhale, fold towards the mat. Hands to blocks, legs, whatever is available to you. Maybe this time tipping a little bit more weight into the toes to bring yourself forward. Maybe a little bit more into your fold. Release the neck. 5 breaths here. Next, inhale, come up onto the hands, fingertips, lift up halfway. Point the left toes back towards the top of the mat, bend into that knee. Walk the hands towards the front. Walk that foot to the outside of the mat, toes slightly pointed out. Coming into that lizard lunge. Inhale, come up high onto the toes, lift up. Exhale, pull everything in towards the midline. Inhale. Exhale, release that heel a little bit more towards the back of the mat. Maybe you stay lifted, or you drop the knee, untuck the toes, and breathe into the hips here. 3 breaths. Next, inhale, tuck the back toes. Lift the knee up. Exhale to step that left foot outside of left hand, hips high at first. Point the toes out towards the side, about the width of your mat. Inhale. Exhale, drop the hips down, Malasana. Maybe that block. Maybe this time you try it without it. Maybe the hips are a little bit more open for this round. Elbows still at the inside of thighs, pressing thighs outwards. Inhale. Exhale, pull the heart towards the hands. Find length through the spine. Inhale. Exhale, press into the heels, lift straight up. Walk the feet in. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Pause for a round of breath. Start to take the hands behind you, interlace the fingers. Maybe pull the palms towards each other. Maybe just grab onto those forearms from earlier. Inhale. Exhale, soften into the knees and start to hinge forward as the arms come up and over for this variation of your standing forward fold. So again, not trying to allow the shoulders to sink down. Really inhale, punch the ceiling with your fists, feeling the shoulders lift away. Maybe exhale, lowers you closer down with each round of breath. One more round of breath here. Inhale. Exhale, bring the hands slowly towards the lower back first. And then release them down to the mats. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend into the knees, plant the hands. Step yourself back. And then choose. If you want to go through vinyasa, go for it. If you just want to meet in your down dog, go for it. Child's pose, go for it. Take 2 or 3 breaths where you end up. Eventually meeting in down dog. From your down dog, inhale, reach the right leg up. Lower that leg slightly down so you can square off the hips. Pull back through the heel to straighten through the leg as much as you can. Maybe point the toes from that space. Finding as much length through that leg as you can rather than going for lift. Find length. Inhale. Exhale, bend that knee, pull it in, come into your plank-like pose, come up high into the toes, curl through the spine like you're in your cat, and bring that foot in between the hands. Walk that back foot in, left foot in. Foot is completely planted into the mat. Toes are slightly angled out, 45. Walk the feet apart until they're about hip distance. Come up high onto the fingertips. Press the right hip back, left hip forward. Hold here. So again, from that place of strength, inhale, roll up, go slow. Meet in warrior one. Maybe hands at heart center or lifted. Doesn't matter which one. Pressing as much as you can through that left leg behind you. Keep the hips squared. You can stay here. You can come to humble warrior slowly. Maybe bring the hands behind you. Palms, fingertips interlaced or to forearms. Doesn't matter. Inhale, pull shoulder blades back. Puff the heart out towards the ceiling. And then exhale, bow in between the legs. Check out what happens with the hips here. Do you start to lean towards one side? Still trying to press left hip forward, right hip back to help keep yourself balanced. If fingers are unlaced and you make that giant fist, once again, still inhale, pull it up towards the ceiling so the shoulders don't sink down. One more round of breath here, release the neck. And then inhale, press into the feet. Use your leg strength to press yourself up. Unlace the fingertips. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Palms touch. Exhale, draw the hands down through heart center. And then fold forward. Plant the hands to the mat. Step it all back. Vinyasa if you choose. Down dog or child's pose. Pause for a breath or two. Where you end up. We'll meet back in down dog. Taking that to the opposite side. Inhale, sweep the left leg up and back. Slightly lower the leg. Press the heel towards the back of the room. Flex the foot first. And then start to point the toes. Find as much length through that leg as you can. Inhale. Exhale, curl it all forward. Arch through the spine. Come up high into the toes. Bring that foot in between the hands. Step that right foot in. Plant it into the mat. 45. Walk the feet hip distance apart. Press left hip back, right hip forward. Come up onto the fingertips, arch through the spine. And next, inhale to rise up. Check in with the hips, pressing through that right leg. Hands at heart center are lifted. Round a breath in. Round a breath out. Preparing for humble warrior. Find the variation that you want in your arms. Bring them behind you. Inhale, pull the shoulder blades together. And exhale to bow forward. Check in with the hips if you're tipping to one side. Trying to press the left hip forward, right hip back. Punching the ceiling with that fist to lift the shoulders away from ears. Release the neck. One more round of breath. Next, inhale, root down through the feet to lift yourself up. Unclasp the hands. Inhale, sweep them up. Exhale, draw them down to heart center. And continue to fold forward. Bring hands down to the mat. Step it back. Maybe one final vinyasa or down dog. Eventually dropping to the knees, finding tabletop. Maybe a round of cat-cow. Next, take an extended tabletop pose. So walk the hands quite in front of you towards the top of your mat. Realign the shoulders, back over wrists like you're in that high plank but on the knees. Inhale, extend the right leg behind you, come up onto the toes. Lift that leg up. Exhale, crunch it in. Wrap that leg around the left. Bring the shoulders back in line with each other. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, curl it in. You're going to have to take a little bit more of an arch to get that left leg to wrap around the right. This is going to be the hardest one. Step that right foot back behind you. Lift it up. Exhale, crunch it in. Really press the hands into the mat to find the arch. Wrap right around left. And then drop the hips back behind you. Gomukhasana legs. Maybe bring the fingertips onto the hands. Lift the hips up. Shimmy it a little side to side. Exhale, bring it down. If this is too much, you can also extend that left leg forward and stay from there. Take an inhale, lift up through the crown of the head. And exhale, fold forward, bow. Bring forehead in contact with something, either the knee or a block or anything else you have available to you. Three breaths here. Next, inhale to come up. Slowly unravel the legs. Sweep the left leg forward, and then reach the right leg forward. Maybe sweep them to the side to come back to tabletop or roll over the shins. Take that extended tabletop, that plank on knees. Nice and extended, shoulders above wrist. This time, tuck the left toes back, lift the knee. Then lift the leg on the inhale. Exhale, crunching it, curl it in. Wrap that leg around the right. Then left toes tuck, lift the knee up. Then the leg on the inhale. Exhale, crunch it in. Wrap it around. Final round, really going to need to arch. Step the left foot back, tuck the toes. Inhale, lift the knee. Exhale, curl it in, press the hands into the mat as much as you can to get that extra room to wrap that leg. And then set the hips down. You can take a moment to press the fingertips into the mat. Lift the hips up, wiggle around, and then release back down. Once again, you can extend that right leg forward, foot is flexed. Inhale, lift up through the chest, through the crown of the head. And exhale, fold over the legs, forehead to knee or block. Three breaths. Next inhale, start to lift. Unravel the legs, right and then left. Either roll over the legs, the shins, sweep them to the side. Coming back into tabletop, just as a transition. Lowering chest and belly all the way down to the ground. Bring the tops of the feet into the mat. Extend the arms directly out to the side, coming into a T position. Take a round of breath here. Start to bring that left hand right underneath the chest. Inhale, walk that right hand a little bit more even out towards the side. Exhale, start to press into that left hand to start to roll yourself over towards the right side of the mat. Maybe bringing knees in towards the belly. You can bring that side of the head onto the mat, or maybe even a block if it doesn't reach the ground. And breathe here into the shoulder, slightly into the chest as well. If you want a bit more, you can plant that foot of the leg that's on top onto the ground and allow that knee to fall a little bit over towards the right-hand side of the mat as well. You can also bind that left arm behind you onto the lower back to intensify the stretch. Close the eyes. 5 breaths here. Use your next exhale to start to bring the knees back towards each other. Unbinding that left arm, bringing it down into the mat, planting the palm into the ground. Start to straighten the legs towards the back of the room and start to roll back onto the chest. Setting that block to the side if you used it just for later. Extend both arms back out. Maybe come onto the chin, the lips, whatever is good. Just to pause here at center for a round of breath. When you're ready, start to take the right hand underneath the chest, elbow squeezing in. So you walk that left hand a little bit more out towards the side. Inhale. Exhale, start to press into that right hand to press yourself over towards the left hand side as the knees curl in towards the belly. Maybe side of head onto the block or on the mat if it reaches. Once again, you can stay here or plant the foot of the upper leg onto the mat. Allow that knee to fall out towards the side as well. Maybe find that arm bound behind you on the lower back. Release the eyes. 5 breaths. Next, exhale, close the knees together. Bring that right hand up and over, planting it back into the mat. Sliding that block to the side. So just straighten through the legs, just roll back onto the chest. Bring the hands down beside you, palms up or down. Pause for a round of breath here. Allow the shoulders to relax. In no graceful way, just flip on your back like a fish. And then we will either take legs up the wall or also give you an option to take shoulder stand. If we're taking legs up the wall, you can just plant the feet, sole about hip distance apart, press into the heels, lift the lower back up. So you can slide that block, pillow, whatever you got available, and lower the back onto the block. The top of the block should align with about the pant line. And then you just kick the legs up towards the ceiling from there. If you're going for shoulder stand, wisest words of wisdom I can give you is tuck your shirt before you invert, because it will suffocate you if you go for an inversion and you don't do that. Especially if an oversized sweater, I have learned from experience, it's not a good way to go. Plant the forearms into the mat, plant the palms into the ground. Start to curl the knees in towards you, engage the core. Lift them hips up even higher off the mat. Then take the hands to the lower back. Do not move your neck at all once you come to this position. Walk the shoulder blades a little bit more towards each other. Plant the forearms, the backs of the arms into the ground, the triceps. And then from there, extend the legs up towards the ceiling. Flex the feet down. Squeeze the thighs towards each other. Maybe the action gives you a little room to walk the hands further up the spine and lift the legs up a little higher. Maybe walk the elbows in even more to find a little bit more lift. Maybe you hold here for 5 breaths. You can try out variations with the legs if you wish. Open them up wide. Maybe bend one knee towards the forehead. And then switching sides. One more under breath. Next, exhale, bend both knees down. Plant the forearms back into the ground, palms, and use them as brakes to slowly lower the spine back onto the mat. And plant the feet into the ground. If you took legs up the wall, just press them to the heels. Lift the back up slightly off the block so you can slide the block to the side. Just pause here for a round of breath. The exhale, curl the knees back in towards the belly, wrap the arms around the knees. The rock side to side, massage the lower spine. Taking a moment or so for any other last postures that your body is craving in this moment. Explore your own practice. Listen to your own guide. You're ready to come to corpse pose for Shavasana and just splaying out in all directions. Take up as much space as you possibly can. Use any of those props available to you. If you want to cover yourself up with a blanket, rest a pillow underneath the head, go for it. Find absolute comfort in this moment.
In corpse pose, maybe walk the shoulder blades a little bit closer towards each other underneath you. Feel every part of your body that is in contact with the mat, the floor. Allow the eyes to close. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Now you can let go of the breath. Allow it to flow in and out of you naturally. Feel that heaviness in the body, that sense of relaxation, ease. I invite you to stay here as long as you can. Really relish in this moment the full benefits of your practice. The light within me honors and respects the light of every single one out there today, wherever you may be. Namaste.